Putting a bead onto a hook, especially a small hook, can be a little tricky. I remember I used to put the bead on my fly tying desk. It was a hard surface and it would start rolling, and of course it would always roll off onto the floor, onto the carpet, or into my wastebasket, and that was a mess trying to find it, and sometimes I didn't. So I decided that I tried something different. I put a little piece of cloth down, just a little square of my t-shirt, maybe, an old one, and I put the bead on that cloth, and now it doesn't move around. It stays steady. Now, about the hook. I use today this electrician's tool. I always found it so hard to get my fingers and my thumbs and get that bead on. It just didn't work. So I found this electrician's tool. I grab hold of it. Now I don't have to worry about dropping the hook. Now the next part, I'm going to bring this piece of this pad up into your sight, and you notice, well, you don't notice here, but if you had a bead, you notice that there is two holes right through it, and on one end it is very narrow, and the other end is very wide. You want to take the hook and the point and go through the narrow part. Now you won't be able to see it too well, but I'm going to show you how I do it. Here, maybe about like that, and I just go down like that, and it's on. So simple, so simple. Then you can just keep it on, put it in your vise, let go of it, presto. That is the easiest way I have found. So now with the bead in place, how do we tie the pattern? Well, first we have to put thread on, and I just do it in the normal way, and I like to build a dam, maybe with 15 or 20 wraps like that, so that the bead does not slip backwards, either while I'm tying or when I'm using. After I get that on, then I go back and I tie my pattern, perhaps a hare's ear, exactly the way I would normally tie it, and I end up right here behind the bead, and I put my finish on. Maybe I use for 4 or 5 half hitches, or maybe I use a whip finish, whatever you like to use. Now, then cut it and put a dab of cement behind the eye. Some of us like to use maybe a hook that is 1x larger than we would use for the fly without the bead, and that allows for the bead to bead to be there, and the pattern would look just the same then. That's how we put beads and cones. Cone is actually almost as identical in as we do on putting a bead.